This is video number one, Proactive Anti-Racist Educator Actions, coming from Iruka, early childhood scholar, but I like to call myself sort of the social justice researcher. So let's start. There are many steps that educators like yourself can take to be anti-racist. I would describe just three, but that I think could be potentially beneficial for all teachers, but also other individuals who are part of the early education setting, like staff, aides, coaches, administrators. So the first is to examine your underlying reason for being an educator. If it is to ensure that children have the skills and tools they need to be successful, but most importantly, the confidence they need to navigate and challenge the status quo, then you are what colleagues and I call a social justice warrior. Yay. So Gloria Lansden-Billings, our foremost authority on culturally responsive teaching, says that one of the outcomes of teaching should be that children develop critical consciousness through which they challenge the current status quo. This means that teaching has to be socio-political. For example, do you delve into conversations with your children when you see children enforcing rules that only girls can be nurses, or only men can be presidents, or better yet, only white men can be doctors and president, and not Black girls or boys? Thus, to be an anti-racist educator, we must shift from a mere focus on standards to one focused on ensuring our children are aware of fairness, justice, and equality, but also fighting for fitness, justice, and equal treatment for other people. So the second way to be proactive in being an anti-racist educator is to seek ways to really self-interrogate. This means that, we have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable about how we may prop up a racist and white privilege system. So for example, do we assume that every Hispanic child is Spanish speaker who lives with undocumented parents, so we avoid back and forth conversations with this child? Do we spend more time with certain children compared to other children? Most of the time, what we think we are doing may not be what we are really doing, because our conscious mind is always at play. So who can serve as your unconscious mind? Your co-teacher, your assistant teacher or coach, another trusted colleague. This trusted source must be on the anti-racist journey and be your unconscious eyes to look at how much back and forth conversations you have with your Black and brown children, or opportunities that you are providing to respond to questions. Or for those who work with infants, how quickly do you respond to the tears and the cries of distress from the young babies? So this trusted colleague, friend, coach, ally, whatever, can confirm whether you show more warmth, attention, extended conversations with this child, or maybe even white children. So finally, really, being an anti-racist educator is really engaging with children's families, especially families of color, specifically, for example, Black fathers. This may mean doing it through different channels like social media and texting, or even through just simple notes and emails. The goal really is to uncover the beliefs, the expectations parents have for their child, but also explore the lived experiences that may lead to parents' goals and beliefs, right? A Black father has a very, very specific experience that guides how they see the world and how they raise their child. For example, you may have thought, a Black father was just staying at home because he lost his job or could not find a job, or maybe lazy. But it could be that he left his job to have more time with his sons because he believes this will ensure they're successful in school, that they're probably also going to survive the society and won't be a problem in school. Knowing this, how do you see and interact with him? What questions can you ask him about why he feels a particular way? How can you engage with him in a way that acknowledges his fears, his lived experiences, and how he sees his role in parenting? Or better yet, how he may be either uncomfortable or comfortable in connecting and talking with you, right? This big Black man talking to potentially a smaller woman, and he may feel like he's intimidating you when that's not the intent. What is your understanding about how Black fathers are viewed and the historical context that has separated Black fathers from families and from their community, right? Whether through the enslavement period, whether through incarceration and obviously death by police hands. And how part of being anti-racist is to ensure that the Black fathers are treated as present and central to the family system. So this kind of meaningful engagement with families of color and the self-interrogation you may guide yourself through afterwards can really contribute to your journey as a social justice warrior. Again, remember, Your job is not just teaching A, B's, and C's. It's also help children to challenge the status quo and to challenge the system as currently constructed that oppresses some children and privileges others.